Hello, everyone. So sorry for the slight delay. Everything decided to not work again today, and we love it when that happens. Nothing makes me panic more last second, especially because we have some friends joining us today and some super exclusive, well, it's not super exclusive, but some early access content from our friends at Steam Forge Games, who are definitely going to be popping in to say hi on the VOD at some point. So be sure to be on your best behavior, chat. I'm watching you. Other than that, that's gonna be in a second. For right now, sorry for the delay, but how are you guys? How is everything? Samuel says hi. Hey, Samuel, how's it going? And I Ain't Ginger over on YouTube says, love the things you do. Oh my god, thank you, so do I. If I didn't, my god, it would suck to be here, but I'm glad you guys liked as much as I do. Honestly, being a content creator is, once it stops being fun, it gets painful, and I'm glad after however many years, it hasn't started to get even anywhere near that point. It's lovely hanging out with you guys. And getting to do stuff like this. Let's see, Cash Cow said best behavior. Oh no. Also, Studio 314, not 34. Hi, thank you so much for the bits. Super sweet of ya. Oh my gosh, we also have Andronimo, who's back, saying it feels like only a month ago that it was my 1-year streak. Oh my gosh, happy 14 months, Andromino. Good to see you, good to see you. We also have Random Asin. Hi, Random, good to see you, and thanks for kicking off a hype train with your subscription. Welcome back for your 19th month. Taylor's also here, same with Drodane. Oh my gosh, we also have Chief Stingy, who says, you know, if you tell us to be on our best behavior. Yeah, that was my bad. I fucked up on that one, not gonna lie. Either way, we've got some cool stuff to unwrap. You guys are going to be seeing a live review. This isn't sponsored, so I don't have to be nice. That being said, I've worked with Steam Forge before, and I've loved their stuff for a long time, so it's probably just going to end up being nice. But bear in mind, I'm not paid to talk about anything. They did send it to me as like a review copy, but it's going to be my first glance at it. And so you guys are going to go through it and see my actual live reaction. And if at any time you guys want to see the actual boxes themselves, there is a link pinned in chat, so you can go check it out anytime. Yeah, that's for the most of it. Does everyone know what epic encounters are? I can hold up the box, because the box is honestly gonna probably trigger something in, yeah, because chances are you guys have seen these before. They're over at, well, they were at Gen Con, which was awesome. I wish I could have stopped by. I didn't have a chance to, because it was Gen Con and I was busy and I was sprinting around like crazy. But they had a really big booth at Gen Con. They're at basically every friendly local game store that I'm familiar with, at least in my area. These bright pink boxes are pretty iconic. I should change the background color to pink. Oh, I should do that. Hold on. Wait. We gotta hit the theme. I know this isn't sponsored, so I don't want to be working this hard, but like, I feel like I should, because, you know, I have the colored lights and everything, and it feels like a waste to not use them. Okay, they're on rainbow right now. Hold on, chat. We're getting the pink colors up. We're getting the iconic. Come on. That's kind of like purplish. Hold on. It's not good enough. Can we go lighter? That's a little too light. We want like that bright neon, you know, that like intense color. That's close enough. Anyway, DVC said it's gonna be nice because all Diana's hatred is focused on the Boston Logan Airport. Dude, I was complaining about the Boston Logan Airport like 20 minutes ago to my work. For unrelated reasons. The last time I was working remote, I was passing through Boston Logan and I had to present something as like, you know, just a little team meeting thing. I was doing some cool stuff and I wanted to share it with my teams and be like, hey guys, look at how much easier I'm about to make your life. And every single time I opened my mouth to start a sentence, the announcements started going over the loudspeakers at Boston Logan Airport. And I get that they're trying to be helpful, but my God, I miss airports that have like quiet zones and quiet terminals where the announcements are just localized to where you're sitting, so you don't have to listen to someone halfway across the fucking terminal talking about like, you know, trying to get to their gate on time because they didn't get there and the plane's about to leave and all that. TND over on YouTube says, hey Diana, how are you? We're doing good. We're vibing. And Lukic says, food stream derail. Oh my God, not already. I've got an agenda today and it's going through some cool stuff, showing off some really cool minis, and then after that, something. I might just play some more cozy games. It's a rainy day today. I would show you the view outside my window, but that is incredibly doxable information, so I'm not gonna do that. Instead, you'll just have to trust that it's raining outside. And it's very, very like energy lowering, if that makes sense. I don't know if you guys get that, but like whenever it's cloudy and depressing outside. Is that just seasonal depression? Is what I'm describing just seasonal depression? It's just depression, isn't it? Did I take my meds today? I'm pretty sure I did. Anyway, Desmond wants me to hydrate. We're back with the sparkling waters. We have the strawberry sunset bubbly flavor. What? There we go. It's quite nice. I haven't been buying. I'm not back on my sparkling water thing quite yet. Someone stole this from their work and gave it to me. So Civics says, is the cozy game gonna be the sucking game, which is a very strong reference to, a very strongly worded reference to Slime Rancher because of the sucking tool. We could. It's been a hot sec, but I'd be down. We also have Cash Cow said, trust the person who told us to be on our best behavior. This seems a bit sus. All right. Well, DBZ said an agenda. Surely a food streamer such as yourself would call it a menu. Wait. Can you imagine me putting my stream notifications up and my like Instagram posts saying like, hey, we're going live, but then making it in Canva in the form of an actual menu? How cute would that be? We also have Golden Blade Doctor, who says, I can't wait for it to be fall because it's too hot for me to wear my big puffy jacket. Dude, big puffy jackets, Letterman jackets, fucking beanies, scarves, flannels. Oh, it's peak season. And also it's like cider season. It's like, it's pumpkin patch season. Oh, I feel like summer went by way too fast, but at the same time, it was just endless travel throughout summer, so I'm kind of glad that it's chilled out a little bit. Also, Zactafane has resubbed. Welcome back for your 22nd month, saying nearly 2 years of Diana-related chaos. Time flies, especially when you're being chaotic. Luke Justice says, if my hoodie didn't say Slut for Lore, I'd have it say Slut for Hoodies. There you go. Gosh, I got the cutest. I think I've worn it on stream at least once. But there was a, oh my gosh, Ty Larker has a D&D themed tarot card reading for us to do right off the bat. Yeah, I can do that. The D&D themed tarot cards are over here. It's asking, what type of magic item will I get? Ooh, that's a good one for this deck. So for those who don't know, I have an actual Dungeons & Dragons themed tarot deck here, which is something that one of you guys sent to me forever ago. I believe you can get it at like a Barnes & Noble and whatnot, but it's just a pretty little set of cards that have this like golden, it's not like gold foil or anything, but it's like a goldish colored aesthetic, and it's made with a different set of suits. So it's not your standard like pentacles, wands, all that sort of stuff. Instead, it uses the attributes, the stats from D&D. So you have like intelligence, wisdom, charisma, and I believe strength as like the 4 main ones. You'll have like all of the numbers, the page of strength, the king of strength, all that instead of normal tarot card stuff. Also, Lukage wants to use the new redeem for Bardic Inspiration, but says tarot or not dice. We'll hold it or refund it for next time. Also, Miriak wants us to do improvised lore. Okay, what kind of improvised lore would you like? We have world building, we have, oh my gosh, story building. So like, kind of like plot hooks and potential storylines and things like that. And then there's also, what's the last one? I think it's just lore building. So world building, story building, lore building. And they're different things, different decks that I can use. But let me shuffle up this tarot deck here real fast and get this going. Mirak wants some world building. Yeah, I can do that in a sec. Lucas says refund nothing. Consider the Bardic Inspiration paying it forward. I can do that. Civics also wants me to breathe. I need to increase the timer on some of these redeems. Good God, you guys haven't made me work this much in a while. But let's see. Natsu says scrap your plans for this stream, Diana. It's Diana being creative stream. These encounters can genuinely get pretty creative for the most part because like you don't have to. They put enough work into the packet that they give you that you really don't need to do any prep or do any work on your end. But it takes like no time at all to root it into your world and come up with ways that the plot hooks can the person outside chill the fuck out? Thank you. I don't know if you guys could hear that. Good God. I so badly wish I could yell at people who had loud cards. Dude, I'm not a loud car person, and I feel like no one needs to be. In the year of our Lord 2025, come on. Let's see. Natsu says, good to see you survive the storm. I did! Also, Dethan wanted me to hydrate and do a posture check. Yeah, I can do that. And then I have the card for you. Fix my posture here and do a little hydrate. I also want to say hi to Thermal Camel, who is here for the first time. Welcome in to the stream. Just in time for a D&D themed tarot card reading, which we got the Page of Charisma for. I can't quite tell if this is a direct reference to something. Maybe one of you guys will be able to recognize the door, but usually this art is, you know, very much like old tarot style art. It's very cool. It reminds me so much, and I say this every time, it reminds me so much of the Dragon Age series, and like the way that they do their tarot cards. I think you might be able to read some of the lettering at the top of the door there. But this is the Page of Charisma. The original question for Ty Larker says, what type of magic item will I find? And if we go to the book, I don't know anything about tarot, so I rely very heavily on this specifically. Let me see. Page of charisma. It's like way in the back. Hold on. Getting into action and rekindling a sense of adventure with even the small things. Realize what isn't working. Ooh. This gives like some sort of item that is divination based almost, which there aren't a lot of them. A lot of magic items you get in games are very much like damage based. This is a lot more like, I'm gonna tell you information, like something that gives you a one-time use of legend lore, or divination based ring items, if that makes sense. Mudman says Inquisition had the best music in Dragon Age. I want to replay the whole series, to be fully honest, like top to bottom. Maybe that's what I should do today. Do I have the original? Oh man, where is it? I need to look at my library because a little while ago I got frustrated with the fact that the old ones that I had on Xbox 360 were basically useless after, of course, my Xbox 360 became useless because it got Red Ring of Death. So I went through and bought them all on Steam so that way I could still have them, and I don't know if I ever bought the first one. I think I started at Inquisition. Where is it? Dragon Age. D. It's up at the top. Dragon, DR, Dragon Age. No, I only have 2. It starts at Dragon Age 2, so I have 2 Inquisition. I don't have Dragon Age 1, and I don't have, what's the new one? Veilguard, so. Civic says, being a car guy, I can share my input on that. We don't modify our exhaust for other people. We do it because we enjoy the noise. This is coming from someone who basically drives a street legal go-kart that the cops around me hate. Oh, man. Let's see. Drodane says my ex read tarot almost every day and kept their books close. There is a, like, if you do proper tarot, which, again, I'm not in that sort of realm of expertise that I won't pretend to be because I don't want to step on anyone's toes. HG says you can skip Veilguard. Did people really dislike Veilguard that much? Hold on, where's my Firefox? We're looking up reviews. Let me see, hold on. Dragon Age, Veilguard. We can find it on Steam, I'm sure, and get some info, because you're not the first person who said that. We've actually had a couple people come up during stream. Every time I bring up Dragon Age, someone is like, yeah, Veilguard wasn't that good. Yeah, let's see. Dragon Age the Veilguard, 2024. Jesus, has it already been a year? 4th major game. I'm gonna skip past the synopsis and the plot because I kind of know what happens. Everyone kind of knows what happens, but critical reception. Surprisingly mediocre writing. Describing the protagonist as more of a witty observer than a person with opinions. And that the comically evil new villainous gods were disappointing compared to the more compelling old soulless. The Veilguard has weird pacing. Okay. Practically a soft reset and a fresh start for the franchise. Feels like both a send-off and a soft reboot, which is refreshing and disappointing. So it just kind of didn't live up to expectations, is it what it sounds like people are saying? Some users criticizing the game for being woke. If you're criticizing Dragon Age fucking Veilguard for being woke, you never fucking were a fan of the Dragon Age series, and I'm willing to bet I'm gonna die on that hill. You didn't like the Dragon Age series, or you didn't like the Dragon Age series that you were actually playing, and you had a completely different opinion of how it was versus how it actually is, and that's on you. Fucking wild. Okay, so that, I think I have a friend who's in Veilguard as like an NPC. Wild. Someone said that Veilguard was at war with itself as he felt the game was not interested in exploring the franchise's past, even though it was a sequel. That kind of sounds like how people didn't like 2, in a sense. Which, to be fair, 2 was trash, and I stand by that. But that's it's mostly because it was so contained. Kristoff said the issue was the story that they had just fell so short in the new game. So yeah, they did build up to it quite a bit, and the whole Dreadwolf storyline and all that. You know, that is a lot to live up to, but at the same time, they should know their lore well enough and their audience well enough to be able to trust them with that sort of lore continuation, if that makes sense. Lucas says if you just go play Dragon Age 1 and stop, you can't be disappointed. How much is Dragon Age 1 nowadays? We can definitely, I might check it out and genuinely start downloading it on stream. I don't know if my internet's gonna be able to handle it, but surely it's on sale. Dragon Age, the OG, not Veilguard. Damn, Veilguard on Steam has like straight up mixed reviews. It's only 68% positive. It's not even 69% positive. Oh no. I'm gonna scroll down. You guys won't be able to see it because it's in my personal Steam account. Been playing the Dragon Age game since the beginning, says one person. It's not bad, but it doesn't feel like a Dragon Age game. It's pretty good for an RPG. Oh man, and a lot of people, even the positive reviews are just that one emoji that just looks like a shrug. Cosplay by Tyler, welcome in. Same with Smitty and Tamachi and Snowhor. Hi, hello. DBCU said, wait, it's $30 on Steam. The lowest sale price on Steam is 10. It's $30 for the fucking old one? For the old one? Oh no. Okay. That's not ideal, because the old one's like old. Like really old. Yeah, $30 for the Ultimate Edition. That's fine. It's a business expense. You guys saw it, right? If there's a future IRS auditor staring at my stream right now trying to figure out if it's a business expense, it is. Don't worry about it. Also, Palpatine's Fist wants me to do a Taraka deck fortune. Give me a quick sec because I have to do lore first. Let's see. TND Pagan also says the dialogue and writing is kind of lame because it just tells you what you think and believe. Oh, that's kind of annoying. Goodness. Sergeant Shenanigans says chat, clip it to gather evidence. Oh my gosh. Also, Vilek Scriptor says Dragon Age had that crossover content with Mass Effect where each game got an armor set with the motif of the other and it was goated. That actually sounds pretty solid. I also haven't played Mass Effect, which is wild because I'm friends with Mark Meir, the fucking, oh my god, what is it? The voice actor, I forgot the name voice actor for a sec, for Commander Shepard, which makes me feel like I should play it. That was the best advertisement for that game, was the fact that he's just genuinely a nice guy. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll play it now. So EA, if you're watching this. Let's see. Notster says, but you hate sci-fi? I hate sci-fi, but I love choose your own adventure games. Which is how I got into D&D and like tabletop games in the first place, by getting into like the choose your own adventure side of it. Lucas says Jennifer Hale was my shepherd, forever team femshep. Saying Jennifer Hale was my shepherd sounds like such a religious experience. Also, Lord Drunken Badger says hello from Wisconsin. Hi! And Tyler Dortenbeck says dramatic zoom. Dramatic zoom indeed. I had someone ask me the other day how I do all these zooms and if I have like an AI doing it or like a third person editor. It's actually just me hitting buttons at random on my Steam Deck, and that's why you usually see me like accidentally switch to one tab and then immediately switch to another. It's because I'm bad at, you know, feeling out which buttons are which. I do wish the Stream Deck honestly had like those little buttons that you use to position your fingers on keyboards and whatnot. That'd be pretty, I think that'd be nice. Anyway, Studio says choose your own adventure books were my addiction when I was younger. Yeah, I feel you. That's exactly what I had too. And that's, I don't know, the pipeline between that and playing D&D and other TTRPGs is real short, let me tell you. Peter Corliss also says, I grew up on Traveler and also was a part of West End Games Star Wars RPG team, so sci-fi is in my blood. I'm glad that I will not hate on sci-fi. I explicitly just don't like it, but I will never be like shit on someone for liking it. It's just not my thing, not my vibe. I've rejected a couple sponsorships and things like that in the past because I'm just like, yeah, it's just not true to my content. I don't know what to tell you. So it's never anything personal when I do that. 90% of the time when you see something big happening, for example, Scorched Basin, and it's not on my channel, but it's on everyone else's, it's just like a genre mismatch, essentially. Blaine Williams, welcome in. Deedon says, imagine Commander Shepard endorsing your stream. I don't know if he streams. I should check that out at some point. Improv GM Michael says, Jennifer Hale's your shepherd, you shall not want. Oh, DBC also says $10 is the current low off of GOG Galaxy. Steam low is $3, but it goes on sale every now and then for $5 to $7.50. So I should open up GOG Galaxy and get that, get the, my startup time immediately doubled by the fact that this thing will not stop being an automatic run in the background sort of system. Da Vinci also says, I read those. I had a Spider-Man one and a Thundercats one. Oh, the, are we talking about like the OG Choose Your Own Adventure books? Or are we thinking about a different one? Andromeda says GOG is actually goated. No DRM on their games either. Is now a good time to state that I'm not enough of a gamer to know what DRM is? Is that bad? Is that good? It's not opening, which I'm assuming is a problem due to the fact that I'm streaming right now, but I'll figure that out later. Right now, we do have some Lord build because we had to redeem for some world building from Muriak. So Muriak, what I'm gonna do is, this is the deck of worlds. And so I'm going to essentially pick out a couple of different, concepts. There are region cards, landmark cards, cards that help you determine the namesake of something, origin cards, attribute cards, and advent cards. And so it will kind of like weave its way into a story over time. But to start off, we're gonna begin with the region, which we started with just a city. The region cards aren't like other, story engine deck cards. You guys might recognize these from the past and from videos I've done. They don't have several options, but that's because it's a whole fucking region, But we'll start off with a city, so a nice little urban adventure. Oh, it's just GOG.com, not GOG Galaxy. Are they two different things? Have they been two different things this whole time? Hold on, deals. Deals of the week? No, store. How much? How much is it? Silk Song is here for 20 bucks. Yeah, well, of course. Search. You guys are not gonna be able to see any of this, and I'm so sorry, but I have to know. Dragon Age. No results. My internet's not doing good right now. Dragon Age Origins. There we go. God, I forgot how old the graphics are on this game. Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, man. My progress? Do I have this game on... Have I had this game the whole time? Has it been on... Has it... Owned games. Where is it? Hold on. No, I don't. I don't know what it's talking about. But for some reason, I have Cyberpunk 2077 on this, and I feel like I should have that as... on Steam. Do I have it on both? I have the old school Diablo on here too, which is absolutely insane, and I should play that sometime. Anyway, Stormbrand, welcome in. ABCD says I just learned that I Spy books images are like actual photographs of stuff someone organized around. Yeah, dude, I remember those from forever ago. Also, Fuzzy on Fire, welcome in. And Dead Waffle says, I got that deck. I got it on free TTRPG day at a local CBS. Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. Also, Nico, Salas and Zero, hello, hello. Akoto says hello as well. Welcome in, everyone. And Andronimo says they may have had a giveaway on Twitch Prime. Oh, that's possible. Also, Lucas says, someone quick, tell her that Dragon Age has a house in like Druid with a beard. I mean, which one? Just asking for a friend. Which one specifically? I was always a what's his fuck? Blackwall girly. And I started, what was it? What was the progression? It was like the fucking wisecracking blonde dude in the first one. Alistair. And then the second one, I went for the edgy terrorist wizard, whose name I forget. And then for the third one, I went for Blackwall. Yeah. Which, man. Also, DBC said the Dragon Age games are part of EA Play with your Xbox Game Pass in case you needed a reason to get it. That's not a bad reason. Especially because the existing game is so expensive, but oh well. Stormbrand says, I'm desperately trying to stay awake. Gotta stay up till 7 and it's 1 a.m. You have to stay up the whole time? You're not gonna take a little nap? Oh man. Also, Krayak says I almost missed stream because a cow got out at work. Anders, that's his name. Yeah, Anders the Discount Gale. Anyway, for the continuation of our world building redeem, I'm gonna have you guys vote on this one. We have our region card. So this is generally what we're gonna deal with when it comes to our world building, and it looks like we're building a city. Now, we also have a landmark card, and this is gonna determine where essentially this city is located and or any regions that are around the city. This is not usually how you use this deck, by the way. This is just how I do it for stream. And our two choices are coast or a palace. So we can decide to focus on a specific palace, or we can make the city built near the coast, or we can have the city on a coast. Go ahead and drop in chat what you guys would like. We won't do a poll because it's gonna take forever, so. Christoph says he's not Discount Gale, he predates Gale. That's true. Also, George Washington says, wait, my terrorist wizard isn't in the first one? Is Anders in the first one? He's not in the first one, is he? I didn't think he was. Was he? Oh shit. Oh no. Oh god. I actually have no idea. Let's see. People are saying city on a coast with a palace on a sea cliff. Oh my god. Also a coastal palace city. And then, yeah, everyone's saying coast. Okay, we'll go for a coast. So we've got a coastal city here to start off with for our world building. I'm also gonna pick, let's do namesake last. I'm gonna do origin. And I'm gonna pick a random origin card here. Hey, Dependiente, hello, hello. Arrow is also here, and Krayhack is back for 35 streams in a row. Holy shit. So the origin cards have 4 options. We can talk about the origin of a school of mathematics, very Harvard style. We have I'm trying to read this in my OBS. The site of a famous fossil, a former forest, and something that was originally a quarry. I don't think we can have it be originally a quarry logistically if it was on a coast. That being said, it is a fantasy world, so we could, in theory, do whatever we want. There are no cops here, I don't care. But I think it'd be easier to make it something that was probably... Ooh. What if we say that the city on the coast was a former forest, but something happened that caused the rest of it to wash into the sea? Potentially. Fuzzy on Fire says, I'm actually working on a coastal city right now my players are headed to, so this is perfect. Oh my god, this is amazing. Stormbrand also says fossil sounds fun. We could also do both. Let me see. The site of a famous fossil and formerly a forest. Because that would kind of make sense, especially if the fossils itself are the only clue that the forest existed there, and normally you'd be like, what the fuck is all this petrified wood doing so close to the coast? in specifically like, old growth forests that you wouldn't expect to be there. Maybe. Your Bad Dank also says a basalt quarry. Oh, that's also a good idea. Studio says make it like gondolin. Gondolin? Isn't that an instrument? Isn't that those things that they use to get around across the cliffs in Switzerland? Let's see, Dead Waffles, welcome in. So we'll do that. We'll have there be fossil evidence of the fact that it used to be a forest, but it's got swept into the ocean. We do also have an attribute card. Oh yeah, Gondolian is from Lord of the Rings, says Red Wolf. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not a Lord of the Rings girly. The amount of comments I got on one of my most recent skits that was like, oh my god, you haven't seen Lord of the Rings? This must be part of the skit. Nah, dude, that was real. That came straight from the fucking heart. Green Arrow, welcome in. A Bubble Bath is also here. Wanted me to hydrate? I can do that. People are talking about mandolins as well. Oh my god, Nico, hi! Holy shit, thank you so much for the 25 gifted subs. God, I wish I had the board. Oh, I'm so sorry I don't have the board. Thank you so much. Also, welcome back. I don't know what kept you away for so long, but I'm glad you made it. Guys, everyone say hi to Nico. A big way to walk back into stream and just like swing your dick around. Well done. That is super cool of you. Thank you so much. Oh my god. Golden Plague Doctor says thanks for the sub. Gregason is also sub with Prime. Thank you so much, Greg. And oh my god, that's super sweet. Verde Dependiente also got a sub. You guys are doing amazing. Lucas says thank you for the dick swinging. Her words, not mine. What an entrance. Let's see. Golden Plague Doctor says, how do I keep getting gifted subs on my first stream I watch? I think it's a thing where isn't it done so that you have like gifted subs are given to whoever's in chat live first, right? And then after that it's whoever's following if you happen to run out of people who are watching live, which has happened a lot from what I understand. Lucas says Diana chat behave. Also, Diana proceeds not to lead by example. Listen, I'll clip out the relevant part for them. It's fine. But Red Wolf says provides higher retention. It does. Meanwhile, Studio got caught up with commercials. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Let's see. So we do also have an attribute card. Now the attribute card also gives us 4 options. Multilingual. Oh my god, I'm gonna read. Not gonna try and read. This lighting is really difficult. Oh, there we go. Or it's a popular campsite. Or it's located on a waterway. That's too boring. Of course it's located on a fucking waterway. Or it's known for talking birds. Ooh. This city could be known for talking birds, or I kind of think popular campsite is a good one. Especially because, like, if, in my experience, a lot of people go camping on the Oregon coast. Oh, people are saying talking birds? Never mind, fuck it, we'll go with the birds. Greyhack says birds aren't real, they're government drones. What if we have mechanical birds? What if it's a city that used to be a forest that then got swept away and people decided to give up on the whole forest thing and go full industrial, but they skipped the part where erosion would be a problem because all of the loose soil got fucking knocked away in whatever cataclysm like ruined the forest. So they were like, all right, while we have all this empty space, we're just gonna build like retaining walls absolutely fucking everywhere and do like the brute force solution to erosion problems and potential devastation of nature. And maybe it's a series, you know, a bunch of metallic robotic mecha birds, like Sir Red Wolf says, that, you know, has taken over and begun developing in here. Can you imagine giant metallic nests, dude? Holy shit, that would be cool. Also, coastal sites have so many thunderstorms and things like that, like coastal storms, that they could harvest lightning and use it as an energy source. Also, let's see, Krayak says, can they be pterosaurs instead of birds? Sure. Actually, that'd be kind of sick. I like that. Okay, so it's known for talking birds. We also have 2 more cards. We can do an advent card or a namesake card. I'm gonna go with a namesake card. Also, TNC says, I'm gonna DM my first one-shot. Any tips? Yeah, don't worry about the fact that it's a one-shot. Unless you physically need to cram it into a 4-hour stint, it's fine. You can make it 2 sessions or 3 sessions, and it's honestly a lot easier to do that and lower the expectation that you're gonna finish it all in 1 session, because realistically, you're not going to. One-shots almost always take so much longer than advertised. That's not due to the fault of like the GM or anything like that. That is purely just a consequence of how the game goes, you know? Hey, Sean, welcome in. Hello, hello. Also, Andrew says we have hurricanes a bit here, but windmills aren't worth anything compared to solar panels. Yeah, that's true. From what I hear, at least. But it depends on the area, I suppose. Stormbrand also says, yeah, to cram a one-shot on stage into like an hour. Oh my god, yeah, that's stressful. I've been in a one-shot like that where it had to stay as an hour long or less, and it was, difficult. Anyway, let's see. We have one more card. Which is the namesake. So we can call it the something of orchards, the something that dreams, the high something, or the something of burdens. So like the city of burdens, the high city, the city of orchards, or the city that dreams. What are our thoughts? I feel like the high city could go a couple different ways. The high wing, that's cool. The city of high wing, I kind of like that. And especially if it's like on a coastal city that's on a cliff that used to be so much more like, it used to have a gentle slope into a forest and into the shoreline, but then it all just fucking collapsed. It would seem so much higher than it actually is. Studio says Dreamopolis. Also, Ratmux says burdens that talk. That's true. That's a good point. I don't know what burdens are. Burdens! Like a little burden. But let's see. The high tide. Someone else says pigeon stool. ABCD says those who set up one-shots for events and groups definitely get mad props because that seems so stressful. Yeah, I have to do a one-shot for charity here soon. I say have to. It's mostly just I have to prep for it. Doing it itself is fun. The prep is hard. So I'm going to have to figure out how to make sure that people don't go entirely off the rails, but it should be okay. Plague Doctor says, I like high and orchards together. So maybe the city of High Tree? High Tree, High Wing? Burden of bird dash un, says Peter. I kind of like High Tree, the city of High Tree, which is, okay, to recap, right? We have the city of High Tree, which has been essentially placed, it looks like it's on a coast. It's on a coastal cliff, but in reality, it used to be a forest, which is evidenced by the stage of petrified wood around the area and the fact that there aren't that many, coastal or cliffside fossils. Primarily because the rest of the forest just fucking broke off and fell off into the ocean at some point, and then people decided, specifically this race of avian mechs, these birds made of metal, decided to move in and industrialize, create this like massive metallic sort of city on the cliffside. They figured, fuck it, erosion's not gonna be an issue anymore, that's been taken care of, so I guess we'll just reinforce it all with metal, build a bunch of retaining walls, and call it good. And so that is the city of High Tree. It's known for fossils as well, so you can kind of use that to determine the stage of the forest, and if intrepid adventurers were to go into the caves around the area, they might find a little bit of information about what exactly happened there. Studio says, are we helping you make your next campaign? This is my first live stream. Nah, all that was just part of some redeem. We did a little redeem to get from Muriak, essentially, to do some spontaneous world building using the Deck of Worlds, which is always fun. I think I'm caught up. Oh no, I have a Trocadeck Fortune redeem as well. I believe. Palpatine, did we refund that, or should we actually go forward with that? I don't think it was ever claimed by anyone, so it might be better to refund it. But Drodane also says, High Tree residents definitely love Electric Wizard, which is a stoner band. Oh, I've never heard of that, but that's cool. We also have Grumpy Budgie, who says, hey, I've been watching your YouTube content for a long time. I love it. Keep making cool stuff. First time catching the stream. Oh my god, welcome. Hi. It's lovely to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for liking the content. I just feel so flattered when people like my shit. That is crazy. But we can move on to our little preview. Why don't we? For those who don't know, I was doing a kind of like a little bit of a... Oh wait, Palpatine's Fist says, are you sure you don't want to use it for yourself? I'm pretty okay. The Taraka deck is not known to be super nice. So, for those who don't know, the Taraka deck is it's the deck that's used almost like a tarot deck in specifically Curse of Strahd, the 5e module. And so it's not the nicest thing in the world, mostly because Curse of Strahd is not known for being a very nice module. It's not hardcore, but it makes you think. I can pull it out for a sec. Deethan says, oh, I'll take it? Sure, yeah, what's your question for the deck? The Taraka deck is pretty cool. It has some like kind of darkish art. I can show you guys here. Someone gifted me this a little while ago because Curse of Strahd is and it's officially licensed, right? Curse of Strahd is the main campaign that I tend to run. And so the deck is, you can kind of get a good glimpse of what the art looks like that. It tends to cover a lot of different, it's got a lot of references to Curse of Strahd specifically. So it makes more sense when you play the module, but in this in the module itself, you actually go in as players and get your fortune told at a certain like fortune telling tent. And the cards that you pull will determine where the MacGuffins are for the story. So it is a really interesting mechanic that I wish more things used. Gothic horror, says Red Wolf. It is. Let's see. Deethan says, how is this week at work gonna go? Let's find out. I gotta shuffle this because it's been a hot fucking second. These cards are also like stiff as shit. So this might take a moment. But let's see. Studio says, man, I haven't played D&D in so long. So nice to see folks are still into it and love it. Yeah, oh boy, are we. I almost want to say people are more into it than ever. At least, like, I can't compare to when it first came out or anything like that because I wasn't alive back then. But I imagine that like a decent amount of popularity, especially in the AP space and because of Stranger Things and all that, has been pretty solid. So Red Wolf says, is there a werewolf-centric D&D module? So Curse of Strahd has a subplot that is all about werewolves, and not in like the Twilight way where it's like vampires versus werewolves. That's not so much a thing. There really isn't that much contention. You can make it contentious, but there are werewolf themes and there's werewolf side quests. But if you want like an actual werewolf series, oh man, what is it called? Shit, I gave it to Odin, so it's called Nightfell. If you go to Mana Project Studio, they have a 5e supplement known as Nightfell. It's a 1 to 20 module, as well as a core rulebook that is all about werewolves, lycanthropy, and all that sort of stuff. It's genuinely really cool. I only have the digital version because I gave the physical version to my friend Odin, my co-host, as a gift because he can't get it in Australia without paying hundreds of dollars of shipping. So I just sent him my copy and kept the digital one. But it's all about werewolves. You can be various types of werewolf subclass. You can hunt werewolves. You can be a werewolf, and there's a lot of different options. So. Jordan says, yeah, in middle/high school, we had to hide that we played. Definitely much more accepted now, which is amazing. Yeah, for so many reasons, honestly. But as far as your week at work, DBCU, you pulled the missionary card, which I don't know if you work in a religious setting or not, but let's find out what this card actually means. This doesn't come with its own book, so I have to look it up separately. Okay, the missionary card. Also, Japid says, me and my friends sometimes talk about silly character designs. Yeah. Oh, DBC. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Deethan. One of you guys has to change. I swear to God. I don't mean to do it. I swear. It's just the amount of D's in my mod team. It's honestly prophetic. Those who spread wisdom and faith to others, but also warnings of the spread of fear and ignorance. The missionary is also known as the Two of Glyphs. D. Beethan. D. Cashcal. All right. Not just says the stream is full of D's. You betcha. But I guess for a first week at work, that would mean something along the lines of you're either gonna have to teach someone else how to do their job, or... The thing is, these cards are all double-sided. Maybe you won't have to teach someone else how to do their job. I know new hires tend to know... They bring new perspectives to things in jobs and things like that. Like, I know when I got hired at my job, I had to teach some people how to do some basic shit with regards to, like, Google and things like that. So maybe that's it. You might also want to be careful to make sure that what different people are telling you with regards to procedures and how to do things lines up, and that you're choosing the best way to do it and not some way that is actually kind of just a shortcut that you'll get yelled at for following later on. Anyway, speaking of moving on, I guess, I do have a bit of, for those who weren't here for the beginning of stream, the reason the lights are pink is because I have a bit of a special preview of something to show you guys. And it's something that was kind of handed off to us by the lovely folks over at Steamforged Games. And they are the creators of a bunch of different shit, actually, like so much stuff with regards to especially 5e's Epic Encounter series. So if you are a D&D player and it says 5e compatible. I'm willing to bet anything it's also 5e 2024 compatible because basically everything is by default. But you might have seen these wandering around your local game store. And essentially it's a campaign in a box, really. They're known for providing everything you need. It's like the adventure itself, a module that doesn't require any prep, a bunch of plot hooks to get your characters into it in various different ways that could weave into their backstory a little bit. The miniatures, which is That's what you're rattling around in here. A playmat that you can use. It's really awesome, honestly, and especially kind of along the same lines as like things like one-shot wonders, where you can just drag and drop it into your current campaign as a little side quest. If you want to take a break from GMing and hand it off to someone else in the party to GM for everyone and do like a little one-shot, you can do that. An easy little game night. It's one of those things that you can kind of just, I don't know, it's just versatile, you know? Oh, Viper says 5.24 equals the 2024 Player's Handbook. Why did that just now click? To be fair, they also released the Monster Manual in 2025, so like it's kind of all over the place. But let me see. Let me drop the link here. Encounters here. Encounters. I know how to spell encounter. Here we are. So the link to check it out is pinned in chat if at any point you guys want to see for yourself. But they sent us 2 of their newest releases, which actually pair together. There is Realm of the Titan, which is, if this is anything like the last time we opened up one of these, it might be one giant mini. A colossal Titan miniature, it says. And then the other one is Sanctuary of the Steelborn. This gives boss battle vibes, so we're gonna do Sanctuary of the Steelborn first. And like I said before, this isn't sponsored. They aren't paying me to talk about it. So I don't necessarily have to be nice, but I am just a positive person, so I'm probably gonna be nice. And also, these things are really cool. I remember wanting these so bad when I was a kid and first getting into D&D and like seeing them up in my friendly local game store, but they were always on the high shelf. Aha, here we go. My ring has, you see this? It's got little like spikes on it. Little thorns, which is why I have it. It's my package opening ring. It works very well. Also, Coda says, Diana, I backed One Shot Volume 2 today because of you. Oh my god, that's awesome! They're doing great, honestly. It's been quite nice. Red Wolf says, I also found Nightfell. Hell yeah. One of these days, I'm gonna do a... Never mind, my thing didn't work. I'm gonna use a box cutter. I had it like 2 feet to my left. I don't know why I didn't start with that. I'm gonna do a full series on YouTube at some point that just talks about 5e compatible modules. So it's gonna go over epic encounters for people who want miniatures in a whole little bundle. It's gonna go over things that are like full campaigns that people might have to do a little bit more prep for. It's gonna go over things like one-shot wonders, all that sort of stuff. I'm gonna do not just kind of like rapid fire lists so people know where to find extra material for their D&D games. But let's crack this open. Oh my god. Oh my god, what is it? So, from what I understand, there we go. I'm trying not to jam my fingers. I'm also really bad at opening boxes, so that's just me. God, I love these guys' branding so much. Do you see this? This commitment to the pink? I love it. It also makes me realize I do definitely have the wrong shade of pink back there, but my colors can only get so vibrant on that thing. Studio also wants me to breathe. Let's see. Oh yeah, ABCD says, oh yes, I know they sent you stuff before. That's so cool that they gave you more swag. Their box art looked familiar and I remember you liking their minis painting-wise. Yeah, so the last time that we reviewed one of their boxes, it was for a Dwarf and Demons series of 2 modules that they did. And this is like the chonk they gave us last time, right? It's a massive miniature. To call it a miniature is honestly kind of a stretch. That is a demon actively rising out of a portal. Those are actually kept right down here. And I believe each series that they do has its own color that they print the miniatures in. But no matter what, the detail is genuinely really fucking impressive. Like, I have a lot of miniatures lying around, and I'm not a huge fan of ones that are just like 3D printed because you can definitely see all the different layers of, you know, everything, essentially. And it kind of... When your miniature looks like a topographical map, it's not my favorite thing in the world. So that's kind of what I'm excited for here, is that Epic Encounters does a really, really good job with their minis. Storage-wise, you can also keep it in the box. They're all laid out. They're not just like scattered around and like free-floating inside the box here. You could actually see them all laid out and pick them out really easily if you need, which I quite like. Here we go. I know I'm supposed to read what this module is actually about, but this is the most interesting part to me. So, it's essentially like a frozen tundra setting that has to do with ancient technology. Oh my god, they have done bases! Oh shit, that's cool, that's new! Oh, I don't remember, the old ones didn't have bases, did they? Oh man, yeah! Look at that! They've upgraded! How cool is that? So the bases have miniature, like, texture now, so you can paint that as well and not have to worry about, like, blocking it yourself. Which works, because it's an urban setting, an ancient urban sort of, like, biome. They call it, like... So to be clear, the name of this first one is Sanctuary of the Steelborn, and the pair of them are called the Steelborn and the Titan. So we're starting off with the Steelborn side of it, and essentially it's kind of like a mystery, if that makes sense. We'll read into the booklet in a sec, but to get you a taste of some of the miniatures here, this is the kind of like ancient technology we're working with. Again, all 5e compatible. This guy looks pretty sick. It kind of reminds me of Doom, if that makes sense. LJ Kai says that's quite a set. Yeah, it's not bad at all. Let me see. Their official names are actually printed on the side of the box, so you don't have to worry about stumbling across names when your party's like, oh, what's this thing called? There are the, let me just do this one at a time, actually. These little Warforged looking guys are known as Titans, with a metallic shield. The priestly looking fella that I just held up, who still looks dangerous as fuck, despite being a somewhat holy man, I imagine, is known as a Cogseer. We also have 3 Blasters, which are these guys, who look like they're, I love the posing on these fellas. They kind of look like they're floating a little bit. Again, they all have that, like, textured base. So those are Blasters. We also have 4 Blitzers, who seem like more like the tanky sort of fellas. You can see the power armor there. And then we have 2 Assassins and 2 Predators. So really every type of playstyle is kind of encompassed here. It's very much an army vibe, but the Assassins are here. And then the Predators are the first guys I showed, which are these dog-like creatures. Let's see. Artemis Dell! Hey, welcome back! And let's see. Yoruba Dank says Cogseer was my nickname in college. LJ Kai says, with a color box like that, you kind of expect sweets or chocolates. I would way prefer this. Dude, can you imagine getting a box like this for Valentine's Day? Oh my god, I'd fall in love. But these are the miniatures. As for the actual adventure itself, here we are. This is just talking about the other epic adventures. They have a bunch. And then, let's see. Sanctuary of the Steelborn. So, this is a 32 page? It might be more. 33, 34, 35 page booklet that gives you essentially everything you need. This is a module in and of itself. You don't have to do any prep, but let's see. Welcome to Epic Encounters, a series specifically designed to take your fantasy role-playing games to the next level. Before you begin, make sure you've read the book at least once, your players have everything you need, you have the battle map all ready to go, you have the miniatures all ready to go. And one thing I've always liked about this series is that they actually have it prepped for several different tiers of gameplay, which again goes back to that usefulness thing of being able to drag and drop it into your campaign at any point, or being able to port in existing characters, because it's essentially something where if your characters are like level 4, you can play it. If they're level 12, you can play it, you just have to change some of the numbers, and they tell you exactly how to do that. But it hops right into the adventure and into the encounter. It says, ooh, some drama here. The creation of the Steelborn is a mystery without an answer. Were they manufactured by dwarves or gnomes? Were they engines of war built for a conflict that never came? Were they assembled by a wizard driven by the conviction of their own genius? See, there we go. Before their creation ultimately escaped them, did they emerge without the memory of their own origins from another plane of reality entirely? All such notions have been contemplated both by scholars of the world and by the Steelborn themselves. So this is like a whole species we're talking about. And like I said, the adventure itself is much of a mystery. And let's see, the Steelborn were created for war, but the war ended ages ago. And yet they're still fighting. They loathe their creator, so the places they attack are linked in some way to their forgotten artificer. Oh man, there's also a machine god that the Steelborn are attempting to awaken. The magic that used to animate the Steelborn is dying, ebbing away, unless it's sustained with a series of arcane rituals. And their goal is inevitable. The world must be remade again in steel and slaughter. Oh, I like it. It's like an impending apocalypse that's just at the very beginning. Kai says, do they do color editions? I don't know if they produce any that are like fully colored from the box, but they have various other colors, so you can tell the miniatures apart pretty easily. I quite like this gray tone, A, because this new edition has the textured bases, but also because the gray tone matches the other gray miniatures I have from other games, so I can slide it onto my shelf a little bit more easily. So, Husky Dread says Machine God. And then let's see. Oh my god, Artemis says, I have no clue what's happening, but still. Oh yeah, so we're showing off the latest Epic Encounters box. This is kind of like an early preview. I don't know 100% when it's out. I don't think I was given that info. Oh, it's available for pre-order. So that link is in the chat, and I'll drop it in YouTube as well for those who are watching. There we are. And that's pinned to the top of chat. Nonster says, is it production ready, as in pre-primed and everything? That is a good question. I'm actually not 100%. I have a very small desk space, sorry. Trying to make sure these don't spill. 20 miniatures, including 7 unique sculpts. I don't know if they're pre-primed, actually. You might have to prime them yourself, but they're ready to play. You don't have to assemble them to their base or anything like that. And they come with the like actual battle map as well, which I haven't shown off yet. Aha. Aha! Yeah, ABCD says, I'm looking at it right now. Pre-orders, yes, now, and the release date is October 7th, 2025. Yeah! And Nostra says, were you given a sample? This is the pre-order, but it's like pretty close to the release date, not gonna lie, so it's probably what you're gonna get, you know? This is the map that we're working with as well. And like in the last one, they're double-sided, so I'm assuming this is kind of like the introductory area. And this, with the glowing green juice, might be further into the compound. So as you unravel the mystery, you'll get closer and closer to what looks like the heart of their operations. And it might also be a site of those rituals that it was talking about earlier, or perhaps the way that they're going to try and awaken this messiah of theirs. We'll kind of read on and get into it. I don't want to spoil it, because I don't know how much you guys are going to be, you know, DMing it versus potentially playing it, or if we have any groups in the chat. Let's see, Roly Poly Roldy says, is this a 5e based module or non-WotC? So it's not from WotC, it's from Steamforged Games, but it does work in 5e, and I assume 5.24 as well. It doesn't say explicitly on the box, but I'd assume so. I think there's very few things that you can't run in 5.24. But, oh shit, there's some colored art. Here we are. So, these will give you a good inspo if you're looking on painting these guys, which I quite like. I'm glad that it's not just black and white the whole way through, because I panic when I try and paint things, and I always want to make sure that my paints are proper true to color. Like this nice gold color for the cog sear is pretty sick. If you don't have any technical paints or metallic paints, you can definitely do non-metallic metal as well. And it looks like this will give you a pretty solid template for doing so. But I personally am lazy and I just use gold paints. Let's see. Johnny Hall over on TikTok says, I love the Epic Encounters stuff. Such great models, and the adventure modules inside are always fun. Plus, the monster stats are always interesting. Yeah, so they actually give you, the other thing I really love about these is that they give you essentially like tactics and a flowchart. I'll show you. If you're not looking for spoilers, just don't read the fine details, but the major boss tends to have, I mean, of course, they have your standard stat blocks, and you can modify these however you need to for, you know, different levels of gameplay and different tiers. But let me show you the one that comes in the boss encounter. So this right here is the Titan. Here's the description. In the frozen wastes of the north, where the wind howls like a grieving spirit, something terrible shakes the bones of the land. Those who survive, oh man, yet when the cold is at its cruelest, locals warn of the Titan's emergence. Entire settlements vanishing beneath its iron stride. How big is this thing? Those who survive its passing sit in dim-lit taverns, staring into their cups, flinching at every rattling window pane, haunted by their narrow escape. So one thing I like about Epic Encounters is that it really goes into the world building of things. This is like the boss encounter that's the companion to what we already have, the Steelborn encounter. But the descriptions they have is really intense. The description of PTSD is fucking unreal. I love that sort of stuff. Also, Nonster says, do they come off the bases so that you can keep them pristine? I don't believe so. Let me try. Let me get this box out of the way. No, but it'd be very easy to slide an X-Acto knife in, like with most miniatures, and just kind of like separate them real fast. I do the same thing all the time where I put something on a like blank base for now, and then I come back to it later and like really do the base with flocking and all that. But here's Realm of the Titan. So this one comes with the Titan itself, oh my god, which is huge, a token board, and then another battle mat. Let me find... Aha. For this encounter, we recommend that players with lower tier characters take on the Titan. Ooh. Okay, so the Titan has 3 different modes. There's Psi, Sigma, and Omega. And depending on what tier of gameplay your players are at, you're gonna take on different versions of this guy. Is that gonna... there we go, yeah. So you can essentially take the same encounter, same mini, and make it more or less difficult. Let's see. It still goes back to the myth of the creation of the Steelborn and how it's a mystery without answer. This says the Titan was constructed by the Steelborn to be a guardian for their broken down carriage, nestled inside of a mountain cavern. Steelborn carriages are enormous transports that are not only engines of war, but also arcs in which they travel the world. The Titan is unlike any other being the heroes have encountered in the intricate layers of metal plating, cogs, and gears, and ornamentation of its design. The motivations of the Titan are completely unknown in the myths. And then it says what the actual truth is, which I'm not going to say because I don't want to spoil it. But the manufactory, the cavern that it's residing in is essentially like their carriage, but it was rendered immobile. And the cavern that it rests in is now developed into a vast manufactory where new carriages are repaired and created. So that must be what this battle map is. If we open it up, this is the new one. Oh, I love the dark aesthetic of these things. Holy shit. Also, Jarvis, hey, hello. And Naz just says, I guess people paint the bases too. Oh yeah, that's what I would imagine. And when it comes to like that brick texture that they have, it makes it quite easy to just kind of let a grout color flow in between the cracks and then do like a little brick color or steel color on top. But this is one of the sides. Looks like a little manufactory for sure. And then the other side looks like a similar sort of thing, but in a slightly different color scheme. Same layout, same sort of vibe. So I'm assuming that you can either use either side for the boss encounter, or maybe you can use it as a phase 1, phase 2 type thing. Nico says, how long till food, but there's food on the way? There is? Oh shit, thank you. Oh, I got the notification 10 minutes ago. I have no updates. Thank you so much though, that's really sweet of you. Oh man. Also, Natsu says I'm curious how it works, because if I painted these things, it'd be 90% of myself. Oh yeah, ow, 1000%. Okay, I'm gonna read a little bit of the lore before I actually pull this guy out, because I'm really curious. Okay, terrain features. Oh man. Let's actually do this. It says you find yourself standing on the threshold of an immense, high-ceilinged cavern, the walls either side faintly visible in the darkness. You see machinery dotted about the cavern, gears and metallic surfaces glowing amber. A flash of eerie blue light accompanies the sound of heavy footsteps. I'm paraphrasing here, by the way. They have actually like decent description. This is the kind of description that I write. Mind you, whenever I'm doing a 5e module, I usually have to go in and completely gut all the descriptions for the rooms and the encounters, and then I write it myself. This I wouldn't have to do that for. It seems quite nice. And let me make sure. There we go. Something within recognizes intruders and begins to move towards your destination. So here is the GM version of the map. So everything that you saw on the battle map was a point of interest that you can seemingly interact with. Yeah, and it even has numbers to correspond with it too. So you have cracked ground, hearthfire, the carriage itself, a bunch of machinery, and it says various GM tips that say how this terrain will affect the autonomous movements, I guess, of this machine and affect the, almost like the AI, the analog AI of the creature. And its tactics. Let's see. Oh shit, the Titan isn't only unique in how it attacks, but how it's damaged also, with a number of components the player characters can specifically target. Dude, the amount of times, this is giving like Shadow of the Colossus vibes, where if you go for weak points on the creature, then you get certain bonuses and things like that. And it's got a bunch of abilities based on, oh, where is it? There we go. Based on the like plasma blaster that it has. It's, you know, it's a war machine, right? That is so cool. Different battery cells. Oh man, and how it can use different abilities. Again, I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but it has a whole like, yeah, here you go. Here is the layout of how you would attack this thing. Not bad. Oh my gosh, also we have some hydrates that I forgot about. This is for Cross and Hydrophilic Toaster. Oh my gosh, also, Desmond said, thank you to whoever gifted the sub. Yeah, that was Nico. It's Allison's era. Also, Cirquemeister over on YouTube says good morning. Hello, good afternoon. Let's actually pull this guy out, because he's fucking huge. Oh man, I feel like a kid at Christmas. Ah, there we go. Oh man. Okay, so if you've ever wanted to do a giant, like, Titanic level fight in D&D with weak spots and machinery and a potential army of Steelborn in between you and the final boss, this seems like a good fucking move. I'm gonna go back and talk about the details here for a sec because I talked about it last time. Ethan said I was about to say kid at a candy store. Yeah, honestly, like, look at this. Oh, it's like dense too. It's not, again, it's not like the 3D print like resin material. It feels like I could throw this at a wall and it would be fine and it wouldn't break apart. The base is done, of course. You can see the cogs and gears there. And Miriak says it's massive. It's comparable to like a Tarask Mini. Yeah, a Maxi. And you can see like the runes on his cuff here. All of these different parts of the armor correspond to what was in the booklet, and to the different sections that you can target and all of these abilities that come out of certain parts of the body. And again, the level of detail that comes with these miniatures in particular, there is the full color picture for those who want to take a look. There he is. Can I do this? Yeah, there you go. He looks great. When it comes to painting, the more like fine detail you can get on a miniature like this, the easier it is to paint accurately, right? Because the paint does all the work for you by flowing into deep recesses on the miniature, and things like that. So for example, like I was talking about earlier, you can paint dark spots in the grout of the brick of the base because thinned out paint will just flow in between the bricks and you won't have to worry about it getting in the wrong spot. So that's why I like high quality miniatures like this. That's personally important to me, and that's why I don't buy a lot of like miniatures outside of you know, ones from either Epic Encounters or that I take them from other games or from WizKids themselves. Mostly I just do WizKids because of accuracy, but even that, it's not quite as high quality as these guys. So Droidane said he'd really struggle with doorways. Nah, he just smashed through them, dude. I also just love the way that if you have an airbrush, for example, it would be so fucking cool to make little glowing bits and pieces all across this guy's fucking armor and making like glowing runes and things like that would be so cool. Oh, and there's the Steamforge logo. Would be so cool. So yeah, shout out to Steamforge. You guys do amazing work. And then of course, like I mentioned before, you fight this guy in essentially 3 different forms depending on how strong your party is. So there is Psi, Sigma, and Omega. And so here's the Sigma form, and then it comes with its own chart for how you do things. If we go back in a couple pages, this is the Psi form. So they all have their own charts, which means all of their abilities are custom to their stat block. And then the last one is the Titan Omega, which is this guy. And this guy is CR, what is it? His AC is 24, and his challenge level is 17 at that level. Fucking solid. Thank you so much to the Epic Encounters team for showing this off. Again, if you guys wanted to take a look at it for yourself or all the other Epic Encounters that are available, you can head to Steamforge's site through the link that's pinned in chat right now, because they do a lot of really cool stuff. If you don't like the sci-fi version of things and you don't like the concept of the Steamborn, then you can still go back and check out the other one that they sent that was more like deep dark dwarves and demons, and you know, was it dwarves? No. What was it? It was ages ago. I think it might have been Goblinkin. No, it was dwarves. You can see these little guys. Much smaller for sure. But those are more like fantasy style, and they have everything in between. There's some cool stuff. Stuff for pretty much every biome and every, you know, mode of play, every tier of play. So yeah, amazing, solid. Hey, Itachi Crows, welcome back for your 3rd stream in a row. Hello, hello. Kevin J is also here. Thanks for following. Same with James Springer of Wolves. And then Desmond wanted to give a advantage to whoever rolls next. So if someone rolls, let me know. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh yeah, Kai says I mostly have figures from Marvel and DC Comics. I feel you. I have, oh gosh, I can't show off the Spidicules like miniature I have. Oh man. Because it's got some nudity in it, so I can't show that off. But I have that one that's really fun that's like sitting around the corner over there, so it's out of sight. Oh my god, Poketate also wants me to hydrate. I can do that. Yay. And let's see. People are saying that's huge. Yeah, it's bigger than my hand. For reference, right? Here they are, standing next to each other, essentially. And then this guy compared to one of the dwarves from the first Epic Encounter that we unboxed forever ago. Here you are. Voila. I like it. I like these guys a lot. It's fucking cool. Also, Omegathron says, Omega Roth, sorry, says the detail on these minis is so good. Yeah, I can't, again, I can't stand the concept of like the 3D printed miniatures where you can see all of the like lines from the filament essentially and the like where it looks like a topographical map, because then you have to sand it down and do so much work in order to get it into painting shape. So I don't know. D&D Pagan says, yeah, they really put work into these. Yeah, I'm glad you guys agree. I love this sort of stuff. Red Wings fan is also here. Hello, hello. And Chelsea, hi, welcome in. Let's see. Pugtastic, hello, hello. We also have, I think, Drodane, who said, exactly why adventurers all have some level of issues. No person with a healthy grasp on life would fight something that big. I'm kind of curious. Hi, Red Wings fan. And then, let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I was gonna kind of take a look at a closer look at the, oh yeah, here we go. The abilities, which all have essentially like it's almost like a flow chart. The way you can look at it, where depending on how close and how close or far away a certain target is, it does certain things to attack a certain person and all that. But, dude, I forgot the like football season is starting back up. Is anyone here a football fan? If so, please lie to me and just say no. I've heard a lot of like football chatter on my For You page recently, which is interesting. I feel like my For You page should know me better. But wait, is this also, are we coming up on the Super Bowl? No, that's in February, right? The Super Bowl's in February, right? I don't know anything about sports. But Mr. Max says, I love sports. Ah, and then Artemis says, I'm more of a hockey fan. I getcha. Oh my gosh, also Chelsea says I've been catching up on Worlds Apart and I'm loving it. Oh, I'm so glad, hell yeah. Yeah, it's been so much fun. I can't wait for the episode to come out where we have Lav on, our editor. She does amazing work and we get so fucking like off topic so much. It's so much fun. Also Studio said someone told me about a first hand of the season and I was like, damn, it's gonna get cold soon. A first hand of the season? I'm unfamiliar with the term. Also David, hi, welcome in. And Chunky Cupcake says, what did I stumble into? We're looking at cool minis and looking at 5e compatible modules, cool maxis, cool chunky boys, battle maps. There's also, I will say, I forgot to show off this token system that they have, which has to do with, I imagine, how you keep track of the different abilities that it has getting damaged and like how you keep track of hitting certain parts of its body and doing targeted, like called shots to affect its abilities, which I love Punch-Out tokens so much. One of the first things I do whenever I come back from a convention is I unbox everything that I bought, and then I just go through and start like unwrapping all the plastic and then punching out all those little tokens and things. Gloomhaven was a fucking trip, by the way. There are so many instructions, even just Jaws of the Lion alone. It gives you so many instructions on specifically how to unbox it so you don't fuck it up, because there's so many components in that game. It's insane. Oh my gosh, also David says my one-shot wonders finally came in. That book is incredible. Yeah, I'm so jealous of everyone who has a like deluxe cover of either of the one-shot wonders books. Apparently they only put out like a limited amount, and I don't have the deluxe version, I just have the normal version, but even the normal version looks pretty fucking deluxe, dude. I love those books so much. Speaking of more 5e compatible stuff. Also, It's Me Fame says, I'm running my friend group's Halloween D&D campaign this year. It's gonna be cryptid themed. Yes, that's so cool. I fucking love cryptid stuff. We were looking at various cryptids in, where was it? I think it was for a potential another Monster Hearts thing that I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about yet, but what's Maddie gonna do, you know? That we might be doing for the holidays. I'm not gonna tell you which holiday, but I was saying how I might just go as like, instead of doing a Monster Hearts like standard playbook, I might just go as Blucifer, the haunted Denver airport horse statue. Where is it? There we go. This guy whose eyes glow red and shit. There are so many conspiracy theories about this guy that I figured it counts enough that I can play him as Monster in Monster Hearts. Also, Notzer says, oh boy, you're gonna love the MTG pre-release and bundle packs. The pre-release and bundle packs? Is that a thing? Also, Sir Redwolf says, welcome to the Multiverse and Dragon Sorcerer series by Sean Oswald. It's really good. Welcome to the Multiverse and Dragon Sorcerer. Are those books? Those sound like books. Those sound like books that I haven't heard of. Oh, the first game of the season. I see. Studio says, someone told me about the first game of the season. I was like, damn, it's gonna get cold soon. I know. Also, DVCU wants us to do a mod poll. What would you like us? You are a mod. You can just do the poll. It's okay. You don't have to ask permission. You don't have to spend money on it. Jordan also says, I prefer to waste the first 15 minutes of any board game night realizing I forgot to punch out all the pieces. Yeah, that's the thing, is we lose momentum really fast. Oh, lit RPG books. Oh, okay, gotcha. And also says they both have punch out tokens galore to better reuse the packaging. I see. I love that sort of stuff. But yeah, what was it? We were going to talk about cryptids. Cryptids of Oregon? Yeah. There's a cryptid wiki? No fucking way. Black Eyed Children. I love their albums. That's recession pop right there. The Devil's Lake Monster, Sasquatch, of course. A Thunderbird? I've never heard of half of these things. Who is Colossal Claude? I think I hooked up with him in college. Let's see, Bat Squatch. What else do we have? A ball-tailed cat. The Seal Rock Sea Monster? I've been to Seal Rock. Huh. Wallowa Lake Freshwater Crustaceans? This just sounds like the name of someone who's trying to sell fucking... This is like what I would call my stand in the Wallowa region if I happen to sell seafood. This is not descriptive at all. Oh my god, PGH says Mothman is the ultimate cryptid. Yeah, god, fucking love Mothman as a concept. Like, I also hear he's a really solid commander in Magic the Gathering. Scryfall. Let's do this. I heard he's like kind of OP. And also a favorite of the girlies. Let's see, Dethan wants some wild Diana lore. Oh god. Oh yeah, the Colossal Claude thing. Mothman. I can spell. There we go. Let's see. Jordan says there's a cryptid con in Kentucky. Oh, of course there is. Also, Lukic says, I'm sad I never got to see the Bill Cipher statue in the woods in Oregon. Who is Bill Cipher? Bill Cipher. In the woods? Oh, there's a statue of the Gravity Falls guy? Oh, shit. Yeah. The Bill Cipher statue. So this is just something that someone put in the middle of fucking Oregon somewhere? I guess Gravity Falls is based in Oregon, right? Huh. I live just a little bit north of Confusion Hill. They call it Confusion Hill? He's located too high to touch, but I got a picture with him. Oh, interesting. So it's around a bunch of Gravity Falls tourist traps. Interesting. Okay. Jordan says just another reason to like Oregon. Yeah, I mean, the Simpsons series was also based on our Springfield, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, look at this guy. He looks so friendly. I know also nothing about this man. I've never seen Gravity Falls. It's not my thing. Sorry. I didn't realize you guys couldn't see our Mothman dude. Hold on. Let me fix stream real fast. Oop. There we go. Make sure you guys can actually tell what the fuck is going on here. Aha. That's close enough. Anyway, this is the card I was talking about earlier. The amount of, like, I've been seeing a lot of Magic the Gathering content on TikTok lately, and the amount of videos that I see that are just, oh yeah, here's the top 10 best commanders ever. And it's always this guy. It's him and Kali of the Vast that show up 24/7. Let's see. Notster says, how do we get you to sit down and watch Lord of the Rings? I might do it on the flight to Australia. I might not. I'm not very good at watching movies on planes. Yeah. Studio says Sasquatch will always be my #1. I had an encounter when I was younger, and we've had sightings in my area from other people. Dude, having an encounter is such a cool story to tell. Holy shit. Oh, that's awesome. Also, Droidan says I'm disappointed with anyone who didn't watch Gravity Falls. Wasn't it like it marketed as a kid's show though? Or is it like one of those cartoons that's geared towards adults? Either way, I don't have cable, so oh my gosh, also DBCU said your next commander should be one of the Gitrog monster versions. Yeah, you gave me a couple, right? Gitrog monster. Yeah, Talia and the Gitrog monster. Let's see. A human frog horror. I do want to build a horror deck at some point, and I do have a fuck ton of white, black, and green, like, cards. Those are my main colors. I don't really fuck with red or blue very much. So, Hossman also says, can I ask a D&D question? Of course. And DBC said it's your colors and everything. It really is. First strike, death touch. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter tapped. Oh, okay. Wild. And whenever Talia and the Gitrog monster attacks, sacrifice a creature or land, then draw a card. Whenever it attacks, you have to sacrifice something. I don't know if I can manage that. I'm not very good at, like, sacrificing things. I don't like getting rid of my shit. I don't know. Lucas says it's an adult cartoon, basically. Oh, gotcha. Also, hello to King Bob, and then Shikster, and then Clipper over on YouTube. Great to see you. Hello, hello. Good to see you guys. Artemis Dell says I play off everything. Oh, and Red Wolf says I'm more red and green myself, which is a werewolf deck I have from Innistrad. I do love the Innistrad stuff. Let me see. Innistrad. I want to get more of these cards. Here's where's the easiest way to get to Lost Caverns of Ixalan? No, I was hoping for Soul of Innistrad. This is from the Commander deck. Where Invasion of Innistrad? From Innistrad Remastered. Here we go. Yeah, I like werewolves a little bit more than I like vampires thematically, but the vampire, like, lifelink shit is really fun. And the fact that they always have death touch, too. Like, having a zombie deck or a vampire deck is definitely a goal of mine at some point. Plus, like, it just looks cool. Look at this one. It's the Meat Hook Massacre. This is some of the best art to use for inspo, at least for my types of campaigns. Oh, man. I used to have the craziest vampire and angel deck in Magic Arena, and I used to win every single game to the point that it got boring. It was just incredibly lucky. Mind you, it also wasn't Commander. It was Standard, so... let's see. Kai says, do you like Yu-Gi-Oh? I'm afraid I have nothing to do with Yu-Gi-Oh. It's really not my thing. I used to have Pokemon cards when I was younger, but I mean, like, very much, like, so much younger, that it wasn't really, it's not a thing anymore. I also didn't keep the cards, so I didn't get to sell them or anything like that when they became really popular. I also, back when I was a kid, I used to have so many Magic cards. My neighbor would, sell, oh, we had a Best Cryptid poll? Wait, what one? Hold on. Wait. Manage polls. View results. I need to see this. It's a tie between the Jersey Devil and the Mothman. Who the fuck is the Jersey Devil? That just sounds like someone's ex from Jersey. Jersey Devil. Oh, this guy goes way back. In South Jersey and Philadelphia folklore in the United States, he's also known as the Leeds Devil, is a cryptid. Oh, wait, hold on. He's so skinny. This guy has like the teensiest little legs. He's got fucking stick legs. Is he a horse? There's a lot of different depictions here. Like this one is a goat bat guy. Okay, he always has wings, at least. That's useful. Huh. This is just a shirt that someone made. That's kind of cool. The fact that he's upright is fascinating. You don't usually see upright creatures with wings. I guess I'm thinking in biology, though. Let's see. Studio says mother leads 13th child. She cursed her own baby. What? Wait, there's... Hold on. We're going to Wikipedia. Also, Sir Redwell says I speculate that the next block for Innistrad is going to be horror-themed. Innistrad Crimson Vow and Midnight Hunt is what got me back into Magic. Oh, it sounds super cool. I really want to get more, like, little booster packs from those things. Also, A-hole over on YouTube says, but that third leg he uses as a kickstand. My god. Let's see. Husband says, how would you rule the 2024 Beastmaster Ranger, Beast of the Land actions? Would you say you can bonus action to command the pet on top of sacrificing an attack from the attack action to have the pet attack twice at level 3? I can copy and paste the paragraph for you if you need. Yeah, go ahead and copy and paste it. If you can find it really fast, because I am ending stream here in like 2 minutes. I'm not very well versed on the player side of D&D because I don't play often as a player. I'm very much a DM side of things. Oh yeah, Hagen says the Jersey Devil was the 13th child of a woman who cursed it to be the devil. Oh. Interesting. It's a wyvern-like creature with a horse or goat-like head, leathery bat-like wings, horns, small arms with clawed hands, legs with cloven hooves, and a forked or pointed tail. Where's the lore? Yeah, the Devil of Leeds, either in connection with the Leeds family or the Leeds Point in South Jersey. Ah. There have been many reported sightings, as well as hoaxes. Oh shit! The board game Fearsome Wilderness, depicting the Jersey Devil. I've never heard of this. What is this? I'm always down for new board games. Fearsome Wilderness. It's 45 to 90 minutes per game session. Huh. An immersive experience with miniatures crafted for gamers, hobbyists, and horror fans alike. Fend off unnatural, fearsome critters of folklore and endure grueling days and tormented nights in the forest. Can you survive? Shit, that's kind of cool. You can play as Paul Bunyan? Wait, are you playing as him? Yeah. Damn. And there's actual, like, tree chopping mechanics and shit. A ball-tailed cat. Ooh. Ooh, and some My Mini Factory miniatures. This is interesting. How have I not heard of this before? I feel like I should have heard of this. I'm supposed to know all about horror games. Calamity Jane? Ooh. This is fascinating. Also, Hossman says, the beast in combat. For the Beastmaster Ranger, in combat the beast acts during your turn. It can move and use its reaction on its own, but the only action it takes is the dodge action unless you take a bonus action to command it to take an action in its stat block or some other action. You can also sacrifice one of your attacks when you take the attack action to command the beast to take the beast's strike action. If you have the incapacitated condition, the beast acts on its own and isn't limited to dodge. Interesting. So your question is, would you say you can use a bonus action on top of sacrificing an attack? There's gotta be an errata about that. I feel like someone would have had to try and use that so quickly after the Beastmaster Ranger came out in 2024 that there must be some sort of workaround. But by default, no, I would actually rule no. Because it's not that you're using... So the way the economy works, right, is you have one action and you have one bonus action. You're using your bonus action to tell it to trigger it to use its action on something other than dodge. It still only has one action though, so you can't then use your action and your bonus action to tell it to attack twice because that's two separate actions and it only has one to spend, if that makes sense. So I feel like I wouldn't rule it that way, and especially having multi-attack at an early level to that degree. I can't imagine that I would rule it that way. I would, however, make the beast level up. I don't know how the existing level up mechanics work in the 2024 edition. I don't know. Yeah. So maybe they get better over time inherently? Possibly? But yeah, no, I would make it so you can't use two of your actions to give it two actions. Multi-strike is different from spending an action and a bonus action to do something, and it does not have a bonus action, it looks like. It just has an action. So it can only spend it once, and you can only use one of those things. So good question, though. There's a very solid clarification. Sorry if it's not the answer you were looking for, though. Speaking of not the answer you were looking for, I am afraid that I gotta end stream. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you were hanging out over on TikTok, I appreciate you all being here. I hope you can join us on Twitch next time, or YouTube, either one. I can watch the chats a little bit more easily there, but I appreciate you guys being here. And then for those who are watching over on YouTube right now, I will see you guys again tomorrow at 5. Same for those on Twitch, except for those on Twitch, I'm gonna send you guys over to a friend of mine. Let's see who's streaming. Oh, Concho. We have to rate it to Concho. Concho is doing a push for partner right now, so it would help him out a lot. He's two streams away, I think, from getting potentially the access to partner through raids and things like that. If he gets access to partner before a deadline that's coming up, then he might be able to get partner before TwitchCon and have access to all the fun TwitchCon shit. So we're gonna go say hi to him. Also, I think it's his birthday this week. So I appreciate you guys a lot for hanging out here, but if you could show him some love when we raid in, that would mean a lot to both me and him. Probably him a lot more, because it's his partner push, and those things are fucking hard. So help him out however you can. Have a tab open if you need to, skip off and go to dinner or do something else. But in the meantime, I appreciate you guys all so much for being here, and I will see you back again tomorrow at 5 o'clock Pacific for some more games and fun and unboxing and whatever other fun secrets I got that I feel like spilling on stream. I don't know. Maybe I'll do something crazy. Maybe I'll make a cooking stream happen out of nowhere. I don't fucking know. I'll see you later.